Welcome to the 2024 Economic Depression and Preparation Channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me on this Monday, August 5th, 2024 edition. Appreciate your support, ladies and gentlemen. Please be sure to subscribe and read the comments and share with your family and friends here. We are entering recession territory heading into the late third quarter and fourth quarter of this year, although officially won't be declared until next year, of course, after the elections and everything. But in the meantime, the markets are anticipating a slowdown globally, but first led by the U.S., of course, and that is sparking fears on these markets here. It's not just in these. The Main Street has already felt this. We've already been feeling this for the last 4 or 5 years, but now the markets are catching up that, hey, things may not be all rosy as we would like it to be in terms of the credit and the tech stocks, the credit stocks, the bank stocks, and things are really looking. So Friday's jobs report is what set it off. As you guys remember, we had a tepid jobs report, only creating 100,000 jobs, and then our unemployment ticked up to 4.3%. All of that has led to many people now pulling the money back from the stock market here. So Dow Jones was almost down 1,000 points today, Monday morning. S&P declined 2.3%, and the tech-focused Nasdaq fell 2.5%. So we only added 114,000 jobs in this economy last month. And remember, we still have this month of the summer to get through, and next month, September, all important. September to get through. And so weak financial data has led many companies, and remember that when we're talking about the stocks, the Magnificent Seven, big guys like Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Meta, etc., they carry about 85 to 90% of the weight of some of these stocks here, like the Russell 2000 and all that. And so that brings in a big focus now that people are really starting to think about, well, maybe we are heading toward a recession. Global stock markets are sliding as Japan suffers biggest fall since 1987. You remember Japan had that 10 years of a lost decade where they had heavy stagflation and no growth. And this is what many fear that the U.S. is kind of heading towards because, the global stock markets are shaking now. Japan's stock market sunk 12.4% on Monday. And, of course, U.S. stock futures are also lower, too. So the Nikkei 225 suffered its biggest decline since October 87. Investors are fretting about Japan's interest rate hike and the U.S. economic outlook. So we got a couple of different things going on here. We have Japan central bank hiking rates. We have our central bank thinking about lowering rates. And we also have the European Central Bank thinking about some members of the European Central Bank thinking about making cuts too as well. So we have a sharp contrast between the East versus West in terms of financial policy, and this is going to lead to more and more distress on the markets. The markets are going to continue to go down. The VIX, or the volatility index, the fear index, is continuing to go up, of course, and we'll continue to see this. We haven't seen this carnage like this on the stock market since the COVID sell-off back in February of March 2020, and so this is concerning. Now, the article that came out with CNN Business, they were saying why the Fed almost certainly isn't going to do an emergency rate cut. Many people want the Fed to cut ahead of this September meeting, and CNN Business said that they don't think it's going to happen. They're going to wait and see the data, of course, and then they'll make the decision appropriately as needed. So stocks just closed in the red for the second day in a row on Monday. Futures are down. So everybody's saying that they want a rate cut, but the thing about it is that it's not just the rate cut that's the problem. It's the prices, the inflation is the problem, and the unemployment is the problem. So you can cut the rates, but if you're cutting the rates into an environment where people don't have any extra discretionary income after bills are paid and after leisure income and activities, then you're still in a catch-22 situation. So everybody that's on the market's crying for a rate cut. That's not the issue. The issue is unless you're going to do a huge unconventional rate cut, like they said, emergency rate cuts are rare. So if you do a rate cut, if we have to do one, you're gonna have to do something very unconventional, possibly even cutting it like by 2 basis points or something crazy like that to have that kind of effect. Because when they did the effect of cutting these rates to zero and leaving it at zero for over 12 or 14 years, the economy was artificially propped up and it messed up a lot of things. So we've been in a depression, according to many people, since 2008, possibly, arguably, since 2001, really. But we have doctored it up. We put a Band-Aid on this big gunshot wound, and now we have a situation now where I'm certainly gonna have to cut this thing by 1 full basis point if they are gonna do an emergency rate cut before September. But it's not looking feasible right now, guys, because of what the situation is going on. When an election year and there's a lot of conflict around the world, and they don't want to upset that right now. We want to keep order and order and stability right now. So while the stock market is freaking out again, obviously dropping 1,000 points in a day, it plunged 3% again on Monday. Tech stocks are going down, and what's happened is that they realize now that the manufacturing in this economy is not there, and there's a lot of ghost jobs. Many people have been reporting to me, and others, you have been reporting to me too, that the jobs that they see that were advertising hiring are just collecting like a database of applications and resumes, and they're not really hiring. They may hire one person out of 50 to 150 applications. So it's a buyer's market for the job market. They know that a lot of people, including college graduates and Generation X and all that, they have a lot of qualifications. So it's a buyer's market worldwide, where employers and business owners can choose who they want really to work, or if they even want to hire, because they have robotics. And between that and the robotics, the automation, this is just killing the regular old economy as we know it, capitalism. And it says right here, yep, AI worries. AI profits are non-existent. It takes a lot of money to develop a lot of this AI technologies, that they have, all this chat GPT and all that. Massive underground servers are being built, massive data centers are being built all over, not just in Utah and all the other places, but there's all these data centers in Virginia, Northern Virginia. They cost a lot of money to operate, and these companies are taking on big, massive debt. And this is just like what happened in the Great Depression. Companies took on massive debt. They start merging together. The top five. So we have monopolies. We have the same thing here. We have monopolies. We have companies merging together, taking on massive debt. The American public is taking on massive debt in the form of IOUs because of what's going on. Now the national debt is up to $35 trillion, and it's probably by the end of this year, don't be surprised, the national debt is at $40 trillion. And this is what's going to cause a recession, a double dip recession in layman's terms. And that's why I say the recession is going to last more than 4 years this time, about 4 years to 5 years, because we have a situation where all this is going to be coming home to roost now. And so you just have to prepare the best you can. Let me know what you think about this recession that we could be facing here, regardless of the political, economic situation that we're facing later on this fall. Let me know how you're preparing for the recession. What have you been cutting back on, and what have you been increasing your need on, your supplies on, as we all head toward this all important fall, back to school type of thing going on with a lot of people as well. So thanks for listening. Please be sure to subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys very soon later on this week once we get jobs numbers on Thursday and other things like that that's going to be coming available to us very shortly. Thanks for listening. Take care.